If you are interested in hearing about how book vending machines are impacting schools and communities, then you are in the right place. We're going to begin with introductions, and then we will move on into some questions together, okay? Sound good? Okay.
Hello, my name is Christy Wimberly. I'm currently a second grade teacher at Lakewood Elementary School, and that's over in West Tennessee, over by the Tennessee-Kentucky border. And I'm here kind of representing Governor's Early Literacy Foundation through the K-3 Home Library as well.
All right, my name is Jamie Fowler White. I am entering into my 5th year as an elementary school principal. We have children ages 3 to 10. And I'm so excited to be here with y'all today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki Hendricks Bowling. I am currently a second grade educator at Schwab Elementary in Nashville and Davidson County. I am here representing the entire school as a mentor and leader of literacy in the building. And I'm just honored to be on this panel today.
Hello, my name is Anassa Franklin. I am the Director of Community Impact at Literacy Mid-South in Memphis, Tennessee. And one of the wonderful things that I get to do is spread the love of reading through book vending machines. So I'm excited to be here.
And I am Felicia Fowler. Yes, that is my sister. I am the Senior Account Executive for Scholastic. I handle West Tennessee and Guelph, better known as I'm the book lady.
And then I'm Alexis Wade, Special Projects Manager for Guelph, and happy to be here facilitating this conversation today. So we'll begin with just hearing from you all. Why is this topic important right now, and what is the most prevalent question on everyone's mind?
I can go. I think right now why this is important, when we're specifically looking at book vending machines, it's to bring excitement to the kids, to have something that we can get them excited about reading. We can increase their home libraries because these book vending machines allow these books to be taken home with the kids. And so just trying to find any avenues. We've talked a lot about, the importance of reading and being read to. And so we're trying to have that and encourage it in any way possible.
Important for me, when I began, it was right after the pandemic, and things had been closed and shut down, and my very first day on the job, a student told me that he hated to read, and he didn't know how to read, and he wasn't picking up that book. He said, "I'm not doing it," and it broke my heart, because I like to have books like everywhere. And so trying to foster just a love for reading. And when you put a book in your hand, how it's supposed to make you feel excited and warm and wonder what you will learn from that. That's what's important. To me, what keeps me up at night, I guess I should say, is just sustaining the momentum. Once you actually get that spark going, how do you keep it going? And a book vending machine would really do that for you. Okay.
Why is this important right now? I currently teach second grade, but I've taught 5th grade for 3 years consecutively prior to that. And my colleague at the time, we called what we did edutainment. And I remind the novice teachers that I mentor that we are competing with technology and all the things that are pulling at students' attention constantly. And so we need that novelty, right? We need that motivation. Books are abundant, but to make an association and relationship between a vending machine, something that gives treats and snacks and something that makes us warm and fuzzy inside, to make that relationship with books. Because prior to that, as the reading teacher, gotta go to reading class, whereas math and science kind of have this embedded excitement. So I'm thrilled at the opportunity to have a book vending machine in our school to bring that novelty and excitement.
So, for me, what is the most important thing, or what makes this the moment for the book vending machines, is children can be seen. And what I mean by children can be seen is the work that I do at Literacy Mid-South. We're a community partner. So in a state like Tennessee, we don't really have any guidelines around banned books. We don't really have any guidelines around what matches the curriculum. We don't have guidelines around what's age appropriate for children. And so is this nonfiction? Is it fiction? We don't have any. We have the complete freedom to put books in the vending machine of choice. And so what I've seen with kids is when they go to the book vending machine and they know they can get any book they want without the pressure of academics or the pressure of someone, whether it's your parent or a teacher or a librarian, telling you, that book is too small for you. You need a larger book. You need a more advanced book. So I think with book vending machines, plus with the amazing possibilities of putting books in the machine that look like the children who are getting the machines out, regardless of if those children are Black, white, Hispanic, brown, if they are ELL, if they really don't like books, they like activity books. You really get to put a book in front of a kid and they see themselves or they see a connection to that book. And I think that's why the vending machine is so important to me, because it gives those kids an opportunity to see yourself. And once you see yourself, you see the possibilities. Once you feel seen, you see the possibilities. So what makes this difficult, or my pain point, is making sure I can keep books in the vending machine so children can continue to see themselves, and not only see themselves, but see all the opportunities in front of them.
Why am I last? So I'm going to come at it from a different lens. So my job is to support. So I can support this in different ways. So as a vendor or a partner, we have a subsidy program for nonprofits, for public and charter and private schools, Rotary clubs, Kiwanis, called FACE. It stands for Family and Community Engagement. It's free to join. So I go around telling them, are you a FACE partner? Are you a literacy partner? And so for Leadership Mid-South, they are a literacy partner. So when they get a pot of money and they're like, I need books for the book vending machine, and I have this much money. Our job is to get them as many books as possible with that money. So that's my role. The other role is, as I'm talking to schools and school districts and nonprofits about, we want to support X elementary school or X middle school. How can I do that with this pocket of money? And I talked about the FACE program, but I also talk about book vending machines because it's something sustainable. It has that wow factor. They can wrap it however they want to. And they put it in a prominent place, and that's how they get adopters. That's how they get support. That's when churches call and go, we are going to use our mission offering for your school. What can we do? You can buy some books for this book vending machine. So home libraries and increasing literacy in the home is one of the things that Scholastic was built on. So we're always trying to support getting as many books in the hands of kids that are mirrors, windows, and sliding doors. So they see themselves, they see others, and they see the world.
So we've talked about the importance. Can you all share about the moment where you decided to bring the book vending machine to your school or your community?
I think this is in my school district. We started about 4 years ago, and I think it was just seeing it on Facebook and seeing some things and saying, hey, this would be an interesting avenue to get excitement back into reading and continue that excitement. And so I think it was, and then we having our Scholastic book fairs, we have been able to have some profit on some of that. And so we used some of that money, and we thought, this would be a great way to use some of that money we had. We also had to get some money from some other funds as well. But we thought, okay, this is a great way to use those funds to try to bring excitement back. And it was a avenue that we were going down that we really didn't know exactly what kind of excitement that was going to bring. We just thought, this is intriguing. We saw it on Facebook and saw it on some other social media platforms, and we thought, hey, this looks really cool. But really, the outcome has been extraordinary, and so we've been really blessed with that.
It was 2020. So I guess 5 years ago. Our book vending machine came, it sparked from a partnership. And so one of my very first community partners that I met when I became a principal was for the Kingdom, Memphis. And they would ask me, what did I need? And I told them I needed books. Because at the time I had 250 children, and so we didn't have a librarian. And so when any partner would ask me, what do I need? I needed books. And so For the Kingdom brought me books. They brought all kinds of books. And they brought them for about 6 months. And what I didn't know is I thought they really were buying the books. So listen. And I didn't know they were coming from Anassa and Literacy Mid-South. And so my district did like, I don't know if yours do the principal for a day type of thing where a community partner comes in to lead the school. And so at the time, the head of Literacy Mid-South chose my school. And so it wasn't her. It wasn't her. It was Sam O'Brien, and he brought this machine. He said, I'm going to bring a book vending machine. And I was like, a book vending machine? Is that a thing? And he was like, yes. And so they brought it. We wrapped it up. And for like 3 days, the children were like, what is that? You'll find out on Thursday. And they were like, but what is it? The teachers were like, what is that? I said, you'll find out on Thursday. So, like, no one knew. And so it was this big mystery around, like, what is wrapped up in the present box, because it was huge. And so we pulled the children out in the hallway, and we chose some to help us, like, unwrap the machine. And it brought out the kid in, like, everyone, the adults in the space, the children in the space. They were like, food normally comes out of this thing. So like, and so the children were looking at me like, we don't have any money. Like, Miss White, what do? We have no money. I said, don't need money. I said, you just need to pick a book. And they were like, oh, like I said, it's free. Like, you can have it. Okay, so what do I do with it when I get it? I said, well, take it home and read it. And so over the past 5 years, we've been able to, it stayed with us that year for a whole year. And now it travels and then it visits us on holidays and things. And so, but each time that it comes, it is just the most amazing experience, because the machine has books for like everyone. For the 3-year-olds, it has books for the 50-year-old. So there are adult books. They have books if you're trying to learn how to read, for ACT, for like all of the things that you would think about but wouldn't have the resources for. Like, it's that type of thing. And so I recommend it to everyone. I think it's just amazing to have. And I think, were we the first one?
Yes, that was the very first deployment.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Sam was present for the day at CBS.
Awesome.
Oh, well, that's a tough act to follow. All right. So, let's see. How did the book vending machine come to Schwab? Well, first, I want to be clear and say that I am standing here representing about 330 students and a very strong staff. We call ourselves a family of about 65 professionals and educators led by the amazing Dr. Cheryl Bowman, who wants all children to be able to write their future stories. And part of that is everything we do at Schwab is student-centered. And so the leadership team, which I am also a part of, we're always talking about what we can do for our Schwabies. Like the bee, it's not designed to fly, and yet it soars despite its challenges. So do the babies that we serve, right? Their circumstances on paper may not say much about what their trajectory is, but they are some of the hardest working, sweetest children. And so we work diligently, coming up with ways to make education not just thriving for them, but also exciting, right? We want school to be a place where they cannot wait to get out of bed in the morning and come. So post-COVID, right, there was a little bit of dread around returning to the school building. And so that conversation led to what can we do at Schwab to reinvigorate and energize our students. And so that was what led to the book vending machine coming. We were very blessed to have a number of donors and donations. So we were able to purchase one and have it custom wrapped. I do have a cute photograph. I'm sorry I can't share it. But it's all yellow and black. It looks like a little bumblebee. But there is a photograph of the opening of the book vending machine, and 200 students are lined up. We launched it as a PBIS, a positive behavior incentive, and the students just could not wait. Again, because of the windows, the doors, and the sliding doors, right? Those opportunities. And that's how it came to be at our school.
Okay, so it was COVID. Picture it. The world at a standstill. Anassa just got hired as a director of community impact at Literacy Mid-South. Walk with me, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, seriously, I just got hired as the director of community impact maybe 4 months before the world completely shut down. I'm an overachiever. And so even though the world had just shut down, I was like, but I still gotta do my work. I still have to do something. And so we had a partner who kind of felt the same way. How are we going to distribute books? How are we going to get books out into the community? A funder, actually. And we had 2 opportunities. One, in our research, we found a short story kiosk where you could literally walk up to a kiosk, type in genre, whatever, and it would print out a story for you. And I was like, you know what, that sounds really cool. For people who are already readers, that would not be helpful for us, because part of my story, I'm a Memphian now, I've been here for 25 years, but when I started working in literacy, I said, okay, here's the goal. The goal for this is, it would be perfect if Memphis is known as a city that reads. That would be amazing. So for me, that included children and adults. That included those who have money, those who don't. That included those who are new transplants, people who are born and raised. For Memphis to be known as a city that reads. And so with that thought, I was like, I don't think the kiosk is going to work. Let's really dig into the book vending machine. And when I really dug into it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to work. This will be like you could just walk up whenever you want to without the pressure, without the da-da-da-da. And because it's COVID, we don't even have to man it. We can spray it down. We can wipe it down, we can restock it, but we do not have to be there. You do not have to touch anyone to interact with this. And so that is where the book vending machine came from. It was born out of my need to still do my work in a space or a time when we really couldn't. Well, so the great thing about that, in hindsight, if we're talking about improvement, is when I first ordered them, it took forever for them to be made. We have 7 now. We started out with 2, then we ordered 3, then we ordered 2 more, so we have a total of 7 now. And now it takes roughly 6 weeks to make a vending machine. It might be more expensive because they're made in China and tariffs, but it doesn't take that long to make them. And I always try to count the small wins. So like that's a win for me, that they were able to improve their processes for others through the work that we have been doing. And it took so long. It took us about maybe it took like 7 months to get it in. So it was actually at the end of the school year, towards the end of the school year, when we deployed it. Now, I was saying, oh, this is going to be amazing. Everybody's going to love the book vending machine. Woohoo! I had many naysayers. Internally, externally, you know, the thing that you always hear is kids don't read. Yes, they do. If you put the book they want to read in front of them. Adults don't read. Yes, they do. In fact, we read all day, whether we want to admit it or not. When you're trying to figure out the price of your food, your gas, blah, 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 we actually read. And so what really solidified that this is going to be a good idea is the response that we received not only after we unwrapped it and the kids went ballistic, but for the few kids who saw me stocking the vending machine and adults saw me stocking the vending machine, it was creating this anticipation, this, ooh, I'm going to get that book. Ooh, can I do this? Ooh, can I do that? When adults asked me about using the vending machine, I said, absolutely, it is for the Scenic Hills community. Because as a former teacher, I know that there is a cafeteria worker that is a model for a kid. It's not their mother, their father, it's not the teacher, it's not even the lovely, lovely Miss White. It's someone that's in the cafeteria, and if they see the cafeteria worker reading is a good thing. Reading is cool. And so I set out to make sure that I put books in the vending machine for all of the ages, as many reading levels as I could hit. But I also wanted to make sure that I put books in that machine for adults so that their parents could get books and they could model that. Staff could get books and model that. Staff could talk about the books. Parents could talk about the books, that it would build all of this expectation and excitement around reading is a good thing. Reading is fun. Reading is cool. So yeah, that's how we got here. And then when I found out they didn't have a library, Julie, are you praying? I am. Thank you. Because I was like, they don't have a librarian in a school? So I had to leave it there the whole year. And I have to bring it back. I have to. Because they look for it. They probably ask Miss White all the time, when is the book vending machine coming back? And again, small wins. Those are all wins. Behaviors have been changed, and they are looking for books that people say they don't even read. Okay. That's right, she doesn't have one. Good job. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a perfect segue, actually. My next question is, what impact have you seen so far on the students and the families and the community where these book vending machines are living?
Well, I'm learning so much up here because myself, you know, we have one, and I think I did not realize that there's just not that many out there. And so that's eye-opening to me because, you know, we incorporate it. We don't really have our community coming and using the book vending machine, which I think is something we could try to, you know, expand, because we're always looking ways to improve as well. We have it tied to our AR incentives with our AR and also PBIS. We actually have different goals that they have to do, and I calculated we give out 432 books a year, and so we're just for the AR incentives. And the reason why we do this is to see, and I'm going to use that word excitement a lot because I think that's what it does. They're used to getting food out of a vending machine, or, you know, maybe playing a game out of a vending machine, but to get something that is tangible, that they're guaranteed to win. It's not something that they're putting money in and a chance to win. And you get the smiles and them gripping that book as probably hard as they can. And, you know, and just, is this mine? Do I get to take this home? You know, I get that question a lot. And I'm like, yes, baby, this is yours. And one thing, as being in education, and I know we probably all have experienced this, kids will leave jackets on the playground. Kids will leave pencils. I mean, we've got tons of stuff. I mean, our lost and found is just, enormous by the end of the school year. But, there's not one vending machine book that is in any of that. And that speaks a lot, just because those kids are, they're wanting to keep those books, and they're proud of them. With the way we have it tied to AR, there's anticipation built up, because we have it where the top 3 AR students will get one, but then we also have an additional 9 that's a random draw. So as long as they reach their AR goal, and that's attainable for anybody, because their AR goals are individualized, it's on their reading levels. Teachers spend a lot of time working on that, because we don't want just the very top readers to get these. We need the ones that need those. And so, we can have a child that has 1 AR point, or, however their goals are. And so that's what we talk about as teachers, that this is attainable for all you have to do is just put forth a little effort. The teachers are there, we're going to try to help you be successful. And so that anticipation of trying to say, okay, I'm excited. Am I going to get drawn for this? Can I get that book? We do it over our news in the morning, and so it's recognized in front of the whole school of who has earned those books. And so they get called down. They're thrilled to be called to the book vending machine. We have learned that kindergarten, we have to do kindergarten at a separate time, because they take a long time to get up there when they're fixing. So we actually have to do them at a separate time. But we're a K preschool. We don't have preschool doing it at this moment, but we've got a K through 8 school. And so we kind of chunk them in segments. Kindergarten is separated from them. But, the kids, they will, you see them wait in line, and sometimes they can't go down the hall quiet. But if they know they're fixing to go to the book vending machine, they will sit there and be quiet, because they don't want a chance of, somebody being told they can't do this. And so they're sitting there, and, it's like what was said up here. They're watching and saying, there's so many choices, and it's like, I can choose what I'm interested in. And so it's watching them thinking, oh, maybe I want this one or this one. And so that's a huge thing as well. We want our community, in looking at ways of maybe we can get them to use the book vending machine too. But we do post on Facebook when that is used. We have the kids come and stand in front of the book vending machine and take pictures of their books and their smiling faces. And it's such a bright spot in education. And we try to promote that in the community and say, look at these kids and what they're accomplishing, reaching a goal, earning that book. And so, yeah, it's been really rewarding.
So for me, the book vending machine's impact is that it helped me change the narrative around reading. It helped my children to build a home library because they didn't have one. My school is located in a book desert where it takes 10 to 15 minutes to drive to a library. So, and there are no sidewalks, because it's originally the property line goes all the way to the street, and so there aren't sidewalks. So it has provided the opportunity for families to have something to read with children. Just the look on my children's face when they get their first book, and it's mine, and it doesn't matter the age. Sometimes it was a 5th grader, and he was like, it's my book, and he picked out a book that a 1st grader would normally pick because he was struggling to read, but he couldn't wait to the smile on his face. He was like, this is my book, and I own this. And I was like, yes, baby, that's your book. And them always asking, can I get another book? I finished that book. Can I get another one? And that's what you want. And you want them to love books as much as they love toys. And so that's what the machine did, because it's fun and it doesn't have them looking at it as work, because a lot of times when we're reading, it's schoolwork, and so they think it's work. And so it just kind of changes the belief around literacy and reading. So that has been the impact on my school. I don't know about everybody else's. Okay.
I love your story, and I'm going to go back to Schwab and tell those kids how fortunate they are, because I think what's humbling for me is that I'm in a book oasis, more so than a book desert. Our leader is a former reading recovery coach, and so we ask for books over food, over money, over anything. We want books first. So thank you for sharing that, because I think we all need to hear it. Impact at Schwab. We got these questions ahead of time. I don't know if anyone else was going to say that, but I'm like a transparent person. So in my mind, I was like, I'm going to say this and then that. So let me reframe. One of the challenges of the book vending machine that we've encountered was about replenishment. And so because of the high demand and all of the excitement, because that was the initial impact, of course, we were like, wait, our demand is exceeding our capacity, and so we needed to pivot. And so one of the transitions that we made, being a pre-K through fifth grade, in 2021, we had just adopted fifth grade. They're moving it in Nashville. They're moving it fifth grade back into elementary schools. So our leader wanted to focus more on academic motivation, because we were finding that getting our littles to read and love reading wasn't as big of a challenge as it was for those students who get into the high stakes testing, the third graders, the fourth graders, the fifth graders. So we have transitioned from positive behavior to more of an AR situation, where they are going through growth and achievement. But I think legacy is the biggest impact, because it's student-centered and it's student control. We do the announcements, we make a big deal, they cheer, they go down to the vending machine, but they also have a hand. Our Student Leadership Council meets with the librarian, and they have a say-so in how books are selected and purchased for the machine. So this isn't just something that they walk up to and they get to make a choice. They are fully invested in the process. We have not extended it to the community in an intentional way. We have other avenues of giving books to families, but I love that idea, and I'm definitely stealing it and taking it back. But to me, reading is a rite of passage. Some of that is because of my own identity, right? Just as a person, and honestly, as a Black woman in America, that reading means many things to me in and of itself. But for children, to encourage other children to read, and for them to aspire to be like their classmates. So less about the adults in the building generating that excitement, but watching our first grade students look up to the fifth grade ambassadors and go, one day it's going to be my turn, and see how that continues, because that legacy is going to extend far beyond the classroom doors.
So this is the question about like impact, right? Okay, so definitely the demand, right? Like I knew it would be a hit. I knew it. My former boss called me the reader. Of course I knew it was going to be a hit, right? I knew it was going to be a hit, but what I did not anticipate was the demand. Not only demand for the books, but schools wanting a book vending machine, okay? Which is why we kind of ramped up so quickly. 21, we bought 2. 22, we bought 3. 23, we bought 2. So now we have 7. I might have said that wrong, but now we have 7. And so with the vending machines, the demand for books, the demand for the vending machine has really, as a literacy organization, we were already giving away 100,000 books a year, right? We were already doing that. With the book vending machines, maybe that first year, the increase is out of the world, right? Like last year, it was over 160. Over 160,000 books, right? So definitely we see the impact as far as like not only the request for the vending machine, but once the vending machine is there, the amount of times it has to be restocked. What I've done, or how I present the book vending machine to schools, and you have a couple of options, 100% free, because I want Memphis to be a city that reads. So my initial rollout has been 100% free, all right? Yeah, that didn't last. It's not sustainable. It's not as sustainable. However, the need was still there. And so I had to do my best thinking, and I had to start, because I didn't want to turn on the payment option at all. You could do it for free, there can be a payment with regular money, or you can do tokens. So I did tokens when tokens made sense. We have 7, and we have 1 in the emergency room. It doesn't make sense there because those people are there to make, right, they're there for the children, not to give out tokens. So that is the one that eats up the most of my, and I love it. It's a wonderful problem to have. However, for schools and for partners, I give them the option of tokens, and what I tell them is, once you hand a token to someone, you can't take it back. You cannot take it back. I don't care what they do. I don't care if they're going on a 180-day expulsion. You can't say, on your way out of the building, give me those textbooks and that book token. No, you let them go get that book. I keep it completely open as far as if they want to do AR, if they want to do it for PBIS, but I try to encourage them to use it in non-traditional ways. So walk in the classroom, maybe you're doing an observation, and you say, what number am I thinking of right now? And some kid says 12. You get a book today, there's your book vending machine coin. Or the most improved student, or someone was doing what they were supposed to do, encouraging integrity. Someone was a great helper, so let's get into social emotional learning. However you want to recognize a kid, and for me, because my job isn't, I don't have the pressure of academic, I don't have data, right? Thank you. Data is not on the forefront of my brain. How many books, which types of books, zip code, what are people doing with the books once I give them? That is totally, that's what I am looking at. And so I don't have that pressure, so I just encourage you. I encourage schools, I encourage partners, don't put boxes around how you want to use it. If that's what's working for your school, 100% go that way. But if you really don't know how you want to use it, give every kid a chance. And giving every kid a chance might mean, who has on gym shoes today? It might mean when you walked into the office, you said, excuse me, Miss Such and Such, right? Or you could have been late into the building, but you got to school. Because we have no idea what some of these kids have to go through just to get to the school, right? And so I encourage schools to not look so much at just the academic component, because we're raising 3- and 4-dimensional children. Look at the holistic kid, and especially when you're in a tough school, and quite honestly, even if it's not a tough school, we watch true crime. It's all kind of stuff happening in these houses. I'm just saying, and so, like I said, what I really encourage is use it in a way that is going to encourage the entire child. Use it in a way that's going to encourage this entire staff. You know someone is going through a divorce on your staff, and I put books about divorce in the machine. Or you know someone's sister unfortunately just passed away. I have books about grief in the machine. And so my point is, I think some of the reason why the demand is just ridiculous out of your mind is because I have so many options. There may be an ACT prep book at an elementary. I did that at Scenic Hills. You know why? Because a lot of elementary kids have older siblings, they have cousins, there's a babysitter. So I put books in the vending machine that are completely unorthodox for that setting, adult books, cookbooks for kids, guided journals, Mad Libs. I put so much that whether you're an active reader today or not, there's going to be something in this machine that you want. And if you keep coming back, I promise you, I'm going to have a book in there that's going to make you a reader. Just keep coming back. You got something?
Yeah. Well, see, I'm the person that one over there calls when this one right here does not have books. This is what happens because I always seem to have books. Yeah, because she calls me too. Because we are partners. My job is to support my schools. Now, Davidson County, Metro Nashville is fortunate. They have almost 30 book vending machines across the district. So what I get, you are. So what I get is, Felicia, we need some books. What do I do? And then I go, well, we have a whole catalog of books that fit in book vending machines because, fun fact, not all books go in the book vending machine. Right. And some people, like, you remember when Frito-Lay used to have like the snack machines, and then those snack machines are defunct, and what they do is they try to get rid of the machines and they retrofit those machines. Well, it has a specific dimension of book, so then they come to me. So we have a plethora of books that will fit in that machine as long as we know what the dimensions are. So my job is to make sure that they can stay fully stocked and not break the bank. And much like a NASA, sometimes you have to talk them into it. So I talked Benton County into a book vending machine. And Miss Betty, who is retired, she was like, you want me to do what? Now, keep in mind, they have a book bus. So she was going around Benton County, and if you've ever been to Benton County, it's far and wide, mainly rural. And I'm like, I promise you, it's going to work. Pick a school and put the book vending machine in there. And then I let it go. We don't sell book vending machines. So I told her who to go to. It can be wrapped. She bought it. I was like, call me when you're going to unveil it. And of course, what happened? I was out of town when they unveiled it. So I get video of the book vending machine. But what she said was, I know you had to talk me into this, but I had no idea the impact, she said, and the smiles, and the media was there, and the cheers, and how excited the special ed children who were new readers were about, this is my book. I'm going to take my book home and keep it. So I said, it is a outlay of cash. I am not going, it costs to fully stock that. But then you put in a plan. How often are you going to restock it? Is it going to be quarterly? And then you actively seek your community partners, your nonprofits. I said, you'd be surprised sending out a letter and asking them, we have a book vending machine. This is the outcome we want. Every dollar counts. Because I tell them, you can buy a book from Scholastic through the FACE program for $1.50. That's the floor. So, yeah, we only have $200. That's 125-ish books to put in that machine. So never think that the amount is going to not have as much of an impact as you think. I said, that's a lot of $125, $20 that they can buy books with. Pool all that money, put it in the machine. I said, and you have something sustainable.
Impact, right? So I was talking to at our table earlier, and we were talking about, I think it was like maybe the last exercise on like, what do you do when you can't capture it on the spreadsheet, right? And so what I've learned to do over the course of my career is absolutely have very clear goals, metrics. This is how it's going to go. This is what I'm looking for in the end, but build in some small wins. And so when I think about the impact, absolutely, over 160,000 books. But also, we have one in the emergency room, and one of my small wins was, because again, I want Memphis Book, a city that's known for reading. I wanted to walk in Le Bonheur at any time and see someone reading a book. And it wasn't because I was stocking it and, me being who I am, y'all got a taste today. It wasn't because I was stocking it and moving around and doing all this stuff. It was because they saw a book, they got a book, picked it up, they started reading. And one day, at about 7:15 in the morning, that's what I saw. I saw a kid who had a blanket over his legs. He was reading a book. I saw a parent with her kids. They were reading books. The mother had a book, and the kids had a book. And so the impact, slowly and incrementally, it does seem huge and big, but slowly and incrementally, I think we are getting to the place where Memphis, maybe we're not known for reading, but we're getting on that road, right? We're starting that journey. We're getting closer to that end goal.
So we'll close with one more question. If someone is thinking about starting a book vending machine program, what's one piece of advice that you would give them?
I think right now is, like you've probably heard, make sure you're giving books out. Make sure if you're wanting to start down that path. We started with more kind of a structured program just because we didn't, and we want to continue. We're a work in progress. We've had the machine now for several years, and we've learned things and adapted it throughout our time. But we felt like having with such a large school, having something that was obtainable and consistent, that we could get the buy-in from all the teachers. But I think that's important. I think making sure that we're including all kinds of books. Making sure you're having diversity in your selection of books. And one thing is we try to make sure we put it in a prominent place. Make sure it's visible. We have it we could have it inside our library, and kids would only go there whenever they had library time, but we have it right outside our office doors, so every child, every adult, teachers, anybody that goes in and out of our school, it is right there. And that's important as well.
I would say be intentional about your rollout. Make sure you teach both the adults and the students to care for the actual machine, and that its purpose is for us to get books, but we don't want to break anything because it would take a long time to get the parts and the pieces back. And so just to make sure that I would tell my children you can always get a book, but I would prefer if an adult is close by, not because you don't know how to work the machine, but just in case something goes wrong, because I don't want them just keep pushing buttons and keep pushing buttons and keep pushing buttons, and the book doesn't fall out or the book gets stuck or something like that, so we can fix it. So just to have clear expectations, rules and guidelines around your purpose for having that machine. That's what I would say.
I don't want to take for granted what may be the elephant in the room, or I should just say a question that was posed to me when someone found out I was on this panel, and it was about the upfront cost. So I did a little scribbling on my note card. I'm at a school that loves to incentivize. We have a number of incentive programs, but I thought of something really basic that a lot of teachers, educators use: the pizza party. For the price of a pizza party for about 30% of our population, that's the cost of the vending machine. And so I think about your household budget, that is it so much having the money or having the resources, or how they're being utilized. So I would encourage people to think creatively, to people who say, well, there are other ways to get a book. You can lay them on the table, et cetera, et cetera. I can write an essay with this pen for a college class. But I bet you all would argue that doing it on a laptop is probably a preference. This was maybe 50 cents on Amazon. That laptop that I own is about $2,000, right? So the level of investment should also be matched to the level of impact. And when I think about the impact of literacy, as we have heard it on this panel today, I would think that the value of putting books in the hands of children and families far exceeds the value of a pepperoni pizza. Right? So I don't think anyone can disagree with that. And I don't know if we'll do our closing, but I want to leave you with opportunity for this vending machine, that it's an opportunity for students to grow, to achieve, to learn, and ultimately to succeed.
I would absolutely jump on the bandwagon as far as like cost, right? You know, when you bought your first car and you were like, oh yeah, I can pay for it. And your mom or dad was like, you can pay the monthly note, but what about the maintenance? What about gas? What about windshield wipers? What you gonna do with that when you need them? And that is the thing that I would say about the vending machine. If someone asked, well, no, give me a tangible number. The tangible number, and just keep in mind that these are made in China, the tangible number is somewhere like 6,500. Okay, for our organization, because we have wheels, we do the custom wrap, we have different book sizes. So on average, so that might be the high side, right? The more expensive side, about 6,500. That's not the problem. The problem is restocking books. That is the absolute problem. That is what you need to answer first. How will I keep the vending machine stocked before you purchase a vending machine? Because that is going to, I haven't seen or heard anyone with a book vending machine that was like, oh my goodness, we have so many books all the time just sitting in the machine and in our storage room. No. If you want a book vending machine, the very first thing that I would tell people is make sure you have a sustainable line item, funding, one supporter, whoever. Just make sure that you have funding, money. Reach out to Guelph, reach out to Scholastic. I was all over the internet, like, yes, we are partners and $1.50, but I need my books a little cheaper because we're giving away $160,000. Right? So that is what I would tell people. On the front end, know not only that you can keep it stocked with the books children want, which are more expensive than the ones that are in the book, in the literature book, with books that they really, really want, and that you can keep it stocked regularly, a consistent restocking. Maybe it's not full all day, every day, but someone just talked about consistency. If you know that the vending machine gets restocked monthly, or the vending machine gets restocked every 2 weeks. Know that on the front end, and as much as you can, err on the side of expensive, especially in this state that we're living, not Tennessee, in this space that we're in, right? Because the vending machine, it's coming from China. There's gonna be some tariffs on it. The books, a lot of publishers are where, Felicia? In Canada? Some in Canada, right?
More books are from China.
More books are from China. So when you're planning, I would say make it as expensive as you can, because even if you decide to get the vending machine without all the bells and whistles, that's money for books. If you find a book, if you budget books for $5 each, you can get them for $1.50. That means you can get so many more books. So err on the side of expensive. Make sure you have budget, funding, a line item, a Guelph partnership, something to keep books in the vending machine, because if you open it, they will pick. If you put books in there, they will make a selection.
All right, I got 1 minute. You gave me a whole minute because I know she needs a minute to wrap up. What? Even though we're recording this, I'm going to say it anyway. Never be afraid to ask companies to either purchase the books and give them to you or to provide a donation. Yes. You would be shocked if there is a Caterpillar, a Dollar General, a Family Dollar, a local mom and pop. Ask them. And then what you tell them you're going to do is you're going to showcase them in some way. If there's, after you put it in a prominent place, on beside the bulletin board, this month's book sponsored by blah. Yep. That's all they want, because those parents are shoppers. So all you're doing is giving them free advertisement, and that's what, for their donation, that's what they're giving you. Yes, I want to sell you books. Trust me. I do. But I also, as a former educator, know we are great at begging. We're outstanding at it. So use those skills for good.